Good evening and welcome to another edition of John Serra's Johnny's Arena. Please subscribe to this channel for further baseball and sports news. Tonight I'd like to discuss a topic that's pretty controversial. People don't like to admit that Barry Bonds is a great athlete. And tonight I'd like to disprove all those theories about steroids and why he hasn't been allowed into the Hall of Fame up till now. 5 reasons why Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Reason number 1, the most home runs hit ever. That's right, I'm talking about simply the stats. 762 home runs, the most hit by any other major leaguer. And he's a member of the 500 home run club and 500 stolen base club, a very elite club. And you don't get that way without skill, without talent, without genetics, if you want to use that word. Now, some people said it was steroids. Barry Bonds was doing these things well before he, as people say, bulked up, before he became a San Francisco Giant and was launching balls out into McCovey Cove. And about that, he wasn't just a ball player with a lot of home runs. People would rather rent boats and sit in the water waiting for a ball to fly over that wall and into McCovey Cove to pick it up with a net and claim it as theirs. It could have been anyone's ball. It probably was Bonds, but doesn't matter. People who have that much of a following deserve recognition to get into the Hall of Fame. People would be lined up to see who could pick up these balls in the water. They would rather be in the water than at the game. I don't know if that says much, but it does say he was a pretty special player. Reason number 2. It was mentioned in reason number 1, the skill. It takes skill to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It takes skill to launch it that far over the wall into McCovey Cove. And about McCovey Cove, I mentioned it in the first reason, Barry Bonds has lost more things in McCovey Cove than a drunken fisherman. That being said, it takes skill to handle the ball that way. Plus all the all-star votes, he didn't just have a bat, he had a glove too. And all these athletic gifts from the heavens, if you will, that's skill. That was genetics. Steroids helps you hit the ball far, but it doesn't help you make contact with the ball. And that is exactly what Barry Bonds based his entire career on. Anyone could pop a pill and do drugs, and we're going to get that into the third reason of why steroids wasn't exactly the reason why Barry Bonds is one of the greatest of all time. Reason number 3, the Mitchell Report. That's right, the one document that came down and listed all the names of the bad guys, the people who were accused of drugs and PEDs, and I can tell you, wait, I got a copy right here. Here it is. It's the Mitchell Report. It looks like toilet paper, but it really, in fact, is the list that all these players were listed on. Let's see who's in the Mitchell Report. Well, we got Phil Hyatt. We have Glenn Allen Hill, Chris Donalds, Mike Lansing, Ricky Bones, Alex Cabrera, and the list goes on and on. Now, funny thing about these names, none of these names ever came close to the Hall of Fame. I don't even think half these players were ever even all-stars. But they took drugs to make them great. Well, I can't exactly see how we can accuse Bonds of being on this list because whether he took them or not, like, he's way better than these players ever would be without the steroids. So you got your Glenn Allen Hills. I mean, if you think about it, the players on the Mitchell Report, they were more likely to get hit with the ball than with the bat, than hit the ball with their bat. So when you take those things into consideration, the Mitchell Report, Bonds' accusations, I mean, it's just funny. I mean, I would be embarrassed if I were Barry Bonds to be included in wrongdoing and have to share the spotlight with these losers. So anyway, the Mitchell Report, BS document. Reason number 3 why we should discredit that and put Barry in the Hall of Fame. Reason number 4, Barry Bonds was standoffish with the media. All right, so the guy didn't give a couple interviews, so he snubbed a few reporters. All right, that's true that these are the same people that vote people into the Hall of Fame, but so are, thousands of all-star votes that came from the fans. So you might want to give the fans what they want and not worry so much about the writers. So he had a personality that was a little abrasive. Who cares? That doesn't take away all the stats, the home runs, the gold gloves, the silver sluggers, the all-star appearances. Barry Bonds is a legend. And so you're a little standoffish with the media? At least he didn't lie. He tells you like it is. He doesn't like you, he'll tell you like it is. He doesn't want to give you an interview, he'll tell you to go to hell. So what? That was Barry Bonds. And that's kind of what made Barry Barry, the same way everyone says Manny is Manny. So that being said, I mean, A-Rod, Clemens, they were accused of steroids, they went to trial, and they were found out to be liars. So the writers snub Bonds for the Hall of Fame. That's nice, that's great. You can have it your way. But in the end, Clemens moved on about his way, and A-Rod, vilified by the fans, called a liar, made a fool out of on radio with Mike Francesa being called a liar, calling him a liar, that is. And what does he get? A-Rod gets a nice, cushy job as an ESPN analyst. Well, congratulations, A-Rod, and pretty sorry for you, Barry Bonds, that you have to be victimized by the same hypocrisy. Reason number 5, the Hall of Fame's past mistakes. That's right. The Hall of Fame of Baseball in Cooperstown, New York, which has existed for decades and decades and decades, has made just as many mistakes in the past as I'm accusing them of making one now by not inducting Barry Bonds. And one of the reasons, let's take a look. Ty Cobb, one of the best players in baseball. However, in the history of baseball, if there was social media back then almost 100 years ago, he would have been more likely to get indicted than inducted. Sorry, it's true. He was abrasive, he was violent, he tried injuring opponents on purpose on the base paths. Not as part of the spirit of the game. He tried hurting you. He wanted you in a hospital so you weren't on the field. That's how Ty Cobb played. And on top of it, he was a racist. And speaking of racists, let's go into Jackie Robinson, the first African-American ball player in the history of our sport, baseball. After the Negro Leagues, he comes to the Brooklyn Dodgers. A lot of those Brooklyn Dodgers accepted him as a teammate, but they were racist. They did not want him there. But some of them made it to the Hall of Fame. Why not? Because back in the 50s, it was okay to be racist, I guess. Well, it isn't now, and being not a nice guy like Barry's always been accused of is pretty much a lot of the nasty reputations players had in the past. But now there's a microscope under Barry because there's newspapers every 5 feet. There's a phone every 5 feet. People are taking video of your every move. So now Barry can't be Barry. Barry has to be someone he's not, just to make the Hall of Fame. The other players 80, 90 years ago, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, in the 20s, they did whatever they wanted, and for the most part, got away with it. And some of them did not make the Hall, and some of them did. A lot of them did. There are a lot of names in that Hall of Fame that you'll look back, and you'll see a history in the books that is not painting a pretty picture of what baseball was like back then as far as the player. And because they made all those past mistakes, I don't see why the writers are so concerned right now that they just can't, in their heart, even if I don't believe it, make one more mistake. So that's it for tonight. I thank you for watching. Those were the 5 reasons Barry Bonds should be elected into the Hall of Fame. This is John Serra with Johnny's Arena. I invite you to subscribe to this channel and check out my blog on John Serra Circus.blog.home at wordpress.com. And I hope to hear and see you guys pretty soon.